Hi.
Hello.
Hi. So I'm so excited. So today we're having coffee with Ashely Brooks, who I adore. We were actually just trying to discuss how we met each other. And I think this is such a sign of the times where women follow women that inspire them. And you've inspired me. And I love following your story on Twitter and listened obviously intensely to your creative morning talk and just so many truths and so much vulnerability, and just loved it. And I think we kind of figured out that we were never introduced, that we just started the socials and then eventually got together and made it official.
I think that's like how a lot of my friendships have formed over the last handful of years, is like just friend crushing on people online, and then eventually we just, have to meet. So yeah, I think I don't know when that was. I mean, it might have been like 5 years ago,
maybe, give or take.
Really don't know.
This has been a long love affair. So I want everyone to meet Ashely Brooks, if you don't know her, which is bizarre because she's everywhere and doing an amazing thing. So I am today, you're going to hear airplanes go by. Apparently it's a thing this morning, Monday morning. So Ashely is A Rose Hospitality, which I have hired for events before, and it's so good. Again, we talked about that creative morning talk. She founded, and she, still hosts and works really hard, and especially, every weekend at the Garfield Farmers Market. It's amazing. And then recently just founded with 3 other women, I believe, Indy Women in Food. Is that right?
Yeah. So we've been at that for like 3 years, I think.
Okay.
So my co-founder, Sonia Overheiser, and I worked on that. And then we've just incorporated many other organizers and leaders. And yeah, so
good. Well, so how'd you get here, right? So how'd you do all those things? Give me the abbreviated version. This is a quick IG video. How'd you get here?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me on and loving your greenhouse.
This is for you. Everyone know, Ashley's my inspiration.
I've been following the progress on your Instagram, I think. And so it's been fun to see that. I'm actually going to make some coffee while
Some coffee.
So
please do.
I'm going to see like my dirty kitchen, and just going to make a second coffee for the day.
I hope more of our talks kind of go like this, where people just kind of talks in their life. I love this so much.
So yeah, you kind of hit on all the key points, things that I do. So right now with A Rose Hospitality, obviously I'm not doing a lot of events, and just really focusing on like the consulting side of my business. So consulting with local restaurants, food businesses, startups, that sort of thing. Farmers, basically anything in the local food scene. Just kind of helping them one-on-one with their operations, or how to pivot, how to deal with the pandemic, how to recover, all those things. So that's kind of what I'm doing with A Rose. Obviously not events, like I said. Anyway,
we miss those.
I'm using this AeroPress like a French press, by the way.
Oh, I love that.
Judging me for a second.
There is no judgment in this world that we're in right now.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So, gosh, what a world we're living in right now.
Oh, bananas.
Yeah. I hope everyone's, surviving at least. So, so I really kind of am focusing on the consulting side of A Rose, and just trying to figure out how to grow that portion of the business. I feel like that's really like where I stand the strongest, is like one-on-one, building relationships, being someone's cheerleader. So, and events are just stressful. So, and I don't know what that's going to look like in the next, handful of years.
Tell me, okay, so we know the struggles, we're all kind of there, and tell me though, in this COVID lifestyle that we have, and I've been reading this book by Ross Gay, who actually has connections to Bloomington, but he wrote this book called Joy. I should actually grab it at some point. I'll post the link. joys and delights. And so my family, so my husband and I have been trying, and even our 5-year-old, you know, we try every day to just say, what was your delight of today? Like, what was that one delight? And it could be anything from, you know, we saw a hummingbird to, you know, something kind of big, like, you know, like a big win. So what's yours? And it doesn't have to be COVID. It could be something as simple, you know, as you really saw this beautiful green couch. I don't know.
Yeah, I asked Roman, my son Roman, he'll be 9 soon, which I cannot wrap my head around that.
So big.
I know. So yeah, I always ask him, like, what is the funniest thing that happened to him throughout the day? Because that usually sparks, you know, a great conversation. So yeah, I do the same thing. You know, I have been really unapologetically taking time for myself over the last couple months.
Good.
I think I've been the kind of person that operates in, you know, in a way that is, I don't know. I mean, if I stay super busy, then it's kind of like a self-sabotaging thing. So I am not focusing on the things that I really need to focus on. So yeah, I'm really trying to change that mindset and that mechanism that I work under, and really sit in my discomfort with having to like self-reflect and work on myself and take time for myself. So yeah, actually this pandemic has sparked that, which has been really good for me. And I've had to just really quiet all of like the guilty feelings of not doing more. Because I think that overwhelm and overgiving is, you know, a real thing. So
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. I do think that COVID has definitely had us all kind of, you know, slow down a bit, which is both a gift and a curse, I think, for lots of people. And granted, it's a privilege to be able to slow down and, you know, and take that time. So just acknowledging that too has just been so important over these past few months.
Yeah.
Okay, big questions.
Yeah.
How can the community, our community that we're building, especially women, you know, how can we show up to support you and what you're doing? And this is my favorite part of all these conversations is, you know, what can we do? And whether that's, you know, amplifying a voice or money or, you know, those sorts of things, but what can the community do for you?
Yeah, I think right now, I think the biggest issue is, you know, all of these places that we think of as our, you know, backbone of the food industry and the culture of, you know, food in Indianapolis. Yeah, everyone is struggling. Everyone is just trying to hold on, and without getting enough help, without getting enough assistance, rent relief, and, you know, I mean, it's just awful to think that 85% of restaurants might not survive this.
Yeah.
You know, when you put that in perspective, that like 1 in 4 people that lost their jobs during this pandemic were in the food service industry. There's, you know, obviously a huge impact in our economy and culture. And so I think the legacy of local food and independent restaurants is so important. So, you know, if you can afford it, if you can afford to eat out, if you feel comfortable getting carry out places, support local businesses, the small independent restaurants. That's the biggest thing. You know, they're really going to need our community to survive this, on top of, you know, assistance. So, yeah, and do things like shop at farmers markets. So, because it's like, to me, that's probably the safest way to shop right now, other than getting groceries delivered. But for people that can't afford services like that, you know, we always offer SNAP and Fresh Bucks and WIC and senior vouchers at the farmers market. So people with food assistance programs can come get healthy local food. So yeah, support the farmers markets and go to local restaurants that you really love. Like, choose 5 or 10 places, you know, like, honestly, because,
yeah,
you know, don't get overwhelmed that you have to like support everybody, but just choose your favorites and support them. Buy gift cards, get carry out when you can. going through the fast food drive-thrus and stuff. So
I agree. I actually really like that. And I like that you tell people don't get overwhelmed. I think when COVID happened, you know, it happened to me too. It's like, okay, I'm going to buy gift cards from like all these places, or, you know, give tip money or those sorts of things. And it felt very vast. And in that sense, it felt like I couldn't do enough. And then you feel like crap, and then you feel like you're not. So I love that, you know, really focus on 5 or 10.
Yeah.
You know, and really hone in on those. That's such good advice. So let's finish with my favorite question. So this, you know, obviously Trace Indy, and how are women specifically leaving their trace on our community, and each other, and what does that look like? So it's almost a legacy question. And, you know, Ashely Brooks, how do you want to leave your trace on Indy, on our city, on our community?
Yeah, you know, it's no secret that I've struggled, with my place in the industry, and you know, throughout the process of healing from divorce and having to pivot in my own life, you know, finding my voice and finding a new support system has been kind of the most important thing in my life. And not everyone understood that or understands kind of my process, but that's okay. So I would say, yeah, I mean, my legacy would hopefully be just creating spaces where people can support each other, especially women, especially minorities, people of color, in this food space, in the space of food justice. So yeah, that's kind of.
I love that.
Hope for.
I love it so much. I mean, it's so big, but so, I don't even know the word I'm looking for. Like, it's so big, but it's such on point. You know what I mean? Like, it's so direct, and you know exactly what you're trying to do. And that's something that even I strive for. So I think that's just so lovely.
It's creating like a sustainable model for our food culture and in our, you know, Indianapolis and beyond.
Yeah.
To nourish itself in a way. So making, you know, taking a holistic approach for sustainability of that. So yeah.
I mean, that's good. That's a pull-out quote right there. I love that. Well, I love this, and I love you, and I'm so thankful that you took the time to have coffee with me and make coffee with me this morning, on a kind of gloomy day, but just so grateful for your time. And I will see you next time.
Well, I hope that we see each other sooner than later, and we'll do coffee again.